The transport shuddered as it exited the jump, the starfield resolving into the grim spectacle of a dying system. On the main viewer, a pale orange sun sputtered weakly, its light barely reaching the ring of shattered planetoids that were all that remained of its inner worlds. The mission was a recovery operation, a somber duty to a dead civilization. The human, Leo, monitored the scanners from the pilot's chair, his expression one of quiet respect for the scale of the tragedy. A signal flickered on the edge of the detection grid. It was not a distress beacon, but a faint, looping energy signature, a ghost in the machine. Against protocol, Leo altered course. His ship, the Curiosity, slipped between the tumbling rocks until he found the source. It was a life pod, an elegant teardrop of silver alloy, adrift in the perpetual twilight. Its surface was scarred and pitted from millennia of micro-impacts, but a faint inner glow pulsed like a weakening heartbeat. With careful precision, Leo brought the pod into his cargo bay. The atmosphere within was frigid, preserved by failing stasis fields. Inside, resting on a silken cradle, was a being. Leo had seen images of the Zarkonians in the cultural archives. They were known as the Weavers of Light, a species of ethereal grace. This one was the last echo of that beauty. Her form was slender, her skin the color of moonlight on mother of pearl, and her hair, long and fine, seemed to hold strands of captured starlight. But she was fading, her light dim, her form almost translucent. He worked quickly, transferring her to the ship's medical suite. His equipment was not designed for her biology, but it could stabilize. He administered general nutrients, warmed the environment, and provided gentle energy stimuli. For 3 days, he monitored her, adjusting parameters based on fragmented medical data from the archives. On the 4th day, her eyes opened. They were vast, iridescent pools, the color of a nebula. She looked at him, at the sterile human tech, and confusion gave way to a deep, soul-weary understanding. She spoke, her voice a soft chime translated by the ship's systems. "You preserved my pattern. The last song is not yet sung. I am a Lyra. I am Leo. You were adrift. Your system? It is gone." A shimmer passed over her, a visual sigh. "I know. I slept as the chorus fell silent. Why did you retrieve me?" "It was not your duty." Leo considered the question. "Because you were still there." Her recovery was slow. She was a creature of energy and art, her people having evolved beyond crude physicality. She drew sustenance from beauty, from harmonic patterns. The stark utility of his ship pained her. Seeing this, Leo improvised. He used the environmental projectors to create shifting fields of gentle color. He played music from Earth's archives, not complex symphonies, but simple, clean melodies. He showed her images of forests, oceans, and mountains. To his surprise, she began to strengthen. The light under her skin grew steadier. She would watch the projections for hours, a faint, peaceful smile on her lips. A quiet companionship grew between them, the last child of a radiant civilization and the pragmatic human who had fished her from the dark. One evening, as they observed a simulation of Earth's aurora borealis, she turned to him, her nebula eyes serious. "Leo, you have returned my light. You have gifted me a future I thought lost. For this, there is a price. A traditional price, from the time when my people were more physical. A price? There is no price. Helping was the right thing to do. For you, perhaps. For my people, balance is essential. A life pulled from the void cannot simply be taken. It must be bound, anchored to the one who performed the act. Otherwise, the saved one remains adrift in spirit." She looked down, a gesture he now recognized as one of solemn formality. The traditional price is marriage, a bonding of patterns and acceptance of mutual responsibility. It is not a contract of possession, but of shared path. Leo was stunned. He sat back in his chair, the aurora dancing across his face. Elira, that is a monumental thing. My people don't have such traditions. We rescued because it was needed. You don't owe me your life. I do not speak of debt, she chimed softly. I speak of completion. You have a piece of my pattern within your keeping now. Without the anchor, I will always be incomplete. I will not fade in body, but in spirit. The choice is yours to accept or refuse. To refuse is my right, and I will bear the consequence. He refused, gently, firmly. He could not bind her to him for an act of basic decency. For days after, he saw the change. She was polite, grateful, but the light in her seemed to stabilize at a lower level. The joy she took in the projections was muted. She was, as she said, adrift. She functioned, but she did not flourish. It haunted him. He had saved her from physical death, only to consign her to a kind of living melancholy. He researched furiously, but the Zarkonian archives were clear. The tradition was not superstition. It was rooted in their psychobiology. A rescue of such magnitude created a resonance. Without the conscious, mutual act of bonding to redirect that energy, it turned inward, causing a perpetual state of dissonance. One night, he found her in the observation bay, staring at the cold stars. She looked more like a ghost than ever. Explain it to me again, Leo said, his voice quiet in the dim light. This bond? What does it mean? She did not turn. It means we walk forward together. Your pattern and mine, distinct but harmonized. It means you are my anchor to this new, lonely universe, and I am your connection to a lost one. It means shared respect, shared space. It is a promise to not let the other drift away. It doesn't mean romance or obligation. Now she looked at him. It can include those things in time, if patterns naturally align that way. But at its core, it is a purposeful alignment of wills. A declaration that the rescued life is now a shared life. He was silent for a long time. He thought of his own loneliness, the empty stretches between stars. He thought of her light fading in spirit, if not in body. He thought of the word marriage and all its human weight, and tried to see the simpler, starker meaning she described. An anchor, a shared path. I don't know your ceremonies, he finally said. The ceremony is the agreement, she replied. The speaking of intent before witnesses. The stars are sufficient witnesses. He took a deep breath. He did not love her, not in the human way, but he felt a profound responsibility for her well-being, and beneath that, a growing fondness for her gentle, alien perspective. He could not sentence her to a half-life. Then I accept the price, Leo said, the words feeling both heavy and right. I will be your anchor, Elara. The change was immediate and profound. A brilliant, joyful light erupted from her, filling the observation bay with soft radiance. She did not embrace him, but she reached out and took his hand in her slender, cool ones. A pulse of warmth, not physical but emotional, flowed from her to him. It felt like trust, like gratitude, like the first note of a new song. And I will be your connection, she chimed, her voice clear and strong. They stayed that way for a long time, hand in hand, looking out at the infinite dark. Now a little less dark for the light they made together. The human authorities were confused. The alien integration specialists were baffled. A human and a Zarkonian, bound by an ancient ritual no one fully understood. They shared quarters on the station, a space Elara transformed with her light weaving into a place of soft, moving color. Leo continued his work as a scout. Elira, slowly, began to interact with others, her unique perspective offering insights into cosmic phenomena and alien art. Their bond was not a human marriage. It was quieter, deeper in some ways, simpler in others. It was the peace of knowing another being was your true home. He was her anchor against the void. She was his reminder that the universe held beauty beyond utility. Years later, on a planet covered in crystalline forests that sang in the wind, Leo turned to Alira. The light within her was vibrant, a testament to a spirit fully alive. He took her hand, feeling the familiar cool warmth. "When I found you," he said, "I thought I was performing a rescue." "You were?" she chimed, her nebula eyes reflecting the glittering forest. "No," he said, smiling. "I was finding my way home. The price was not a cost. It was a gift." Alira's light pulsed softly, weaving around them both in a gentle, loving pattern. She leaned her head against his shoulder, a gesture she had learned from him, a physical echo of their bonded patterns. Above them, the alien stars shone down, witnesses to a union that had saved not one life, but two.